I'm here. What am I doing? Always I'm cooking. Now you know you start off with your hands nice and clean. You don't, you can't cook with dirty hands. Make sure your hands are nice and clean and your surface is nice and clean. Oh, today I'm going to make something very special. New Year's is in and it's cold outside. So I'm going to make my version of potluck stew. What is potluck stew? Potluck stew for me is little bits and things I have in the freezer. It's not enough to make a full meal out of, so I take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit, and I make a stew out of it, okay? Now, I got 4 quarts of water in here. This is a 6-quart pot, 4 quarts of water, right? I've got short ribs of beef. I've got some chicken. I've got some neck bones, beef neck bones. I've got pork, country ribs, and I have oxtails. Yeah, that's what I said, oxtails, okay? Now, I season my water, 1 bay leaf, a tablespoon of salt in here. Then there's a half a teaspoon each of oregano, basil, and some oregano and thyme. Oregano, basil, and thyme, 1/2 teaspoon each, and then a tablespoon of salt. Always start off with a tablespoon of salt. When a large portion like this, right? I'll put that in the water, along with the bay leaf. Now, got my onions. That's 1 medium to large onion, which is a sweet onion. I like sweet onion with stews. I'll put that in there. Onions. I'm gonna start off with the beef first because beef takes the longest to cook, so you put that in first. All right, I got my short ribs of beef, and this is about a pound each of each one, about a pound of each one. There's 5 different ones in there. There's about a pound of each one. I got my oxtails, and something if you don't know about beef, you ought to know it now. Beef tightens and then it loosens up again. It tightens when it's cooking and then it loosens up again. When it starts to loosen up, it's getting ready to get done. Okay. So I'm putting this in here first, my oxtail and my short ribs of beef and my beef neck bones. Okay, that's what's going in first. I'm going to let those cook and let it cook down, strike a boil, and then let it simmer. And as it's simmering, all those seasons getting together, a little scum gets on top of it. You take the scum off, and then I add the rest of the meat accordingly. I'm going to have some sweet potatoes. Oh yeah. And some regular potatoes in there. These are russet potatoes. And I'm going to put carrots in there, but I'm going to do it as I go. When you add stuff in as it goes, and don't try to cook it all at one time, you won't have a mess. It'll cook properly. You get the correct doneness for each time you put it in there, and I'm going to show you how to do it, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, now, I've got everything in the pot here. I'm going to turn the fire on high. Well, I keep saying fire. I'm used to a gas stove. This is an electric stove. I'll turn the fire on to high. Electric on high. And when it strikes a boil, I'm going to turn it down and let it simmer. I like my food to simmer. I'm not trying to cook it fast. I want to cook it good. So I'm going to let it simmer until it starts to get done. And how am I going to know it's getting done? I'm going to test it. I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to test the meat and see how done it's getting. Remember with beef, whenever you cook a beef, it tightens and then when it starts to loosen up, then you know your beef is almost getting done. All right, so here we go. And then when it starts to do that, I'll come back and show you a little bit more. Okay, guys, I'm back. It's been about 45 minutes since the meat's been cooking, and I'm going to test it out now to see just how done it is. And then I'm going to test for saltiness, seasoning the food. Now, look at that. That's nice. I wonder if you can see that. I hope you can see that. That's going in nice. It's almost the way I want it done. Not too done, just enough for me to add my other meat in. And this is also a time when I add more salt. I add the salt now, basically, the more salt that I'm going to add, like 2 more tablespoons of salt. Because when you put all the salt in the beginning, your meat is going to take longer to cook because salt toughens up the meat. It toughens up your beef. So this is halfway through the cooking, and now it's time for me to add more salt. So here we go. I'm going to add 2 more tablespoons of salt. 1. Two. Stir it around for some taste and see what's happening there. I got enough salt enough for myself, and then I'm going to add some more meat. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. 2 tablespoons more salt I added. And the other meats are cooking the same way I want them to cook. They're the same consistency of doneness. Same consistency of doneness I have with the other. So now I'm going to put the pork in. I'm going to put in the pork. And the last thing I'll put in is the chicken, because that takes the least amount of time to cook. So now I got the pork in there. That's going to get seasoned with everything in there, nice and seasoned. Right? Put the top back on that. Before I put the chicken in there, I'm going to put the carrots in. This is a 2-pound bag of carrots. And I'm going to put 1 pound, half of that in there. These are large carrots, supposed to be baby cut carrots. They're the largest baby cut carrots I ever saw. But I'm going to put this is a pound of that. This is a 2-pound bag. And then I'm going to test it in about 15 minutes to see how done it's getting. Then I'm going to add my sweet potatoes. Then, okay, so now I'll be back in a little bit and I'll see you in about another 15, 20 minutes or so, okay? Okay, guys, it's been 30 minutes later. And I'm going to check the pork, see how it's doing. And I'm sure it's at the consistency where I want it because I see it floating. And it is. It is. Now I'm going to put my carrots in. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's 1 pound of carrots. All right. Put the carrots in. And I'm going to let them cook for about 15 minutes. And then I'm going to add in my sweet potatoes. So I'll be back in 15 minutes and I'm going to let that cook, okay? See you in 15 minutes. Okay, I'm back again. It's been about 15 minutes. And I'm going to take a look at my carrots and see what they're doing. Now, I'm getting this to its consistency that I want because I don't want my carrots to be done. You know what I mean? I don't want them to be done. I want everything to cook in unison, and that's just about right. Now I'm going to put the sweet potatoes in. Now look at, and then something else, look at this. You see this? This is still not done. It's everything is cooking and getting done at the correct time so you don't have mush. Now I'm going to put the sweet potatoes in. I'm going to let them cook for about 15 minutes. And as they're cooking, you see it slow down, right? So it's when it strikes a boil, another 15 minutes cooking with that, and then I'll come back and put my potatoes in. Now those carrots were, like I said before, were about a pound of carrots, and the sweet potatoes were 2 medium sweet potatoes or 1 large sweet potato. You cut it up, okay? The potatoes are russet potatoes, and that's about 3 russet potatoes that I have in there. 3 of them. 3 russet potatoes, and I cut those up. I left the skin on. So now, when all this cooks down, I'm going to take some of that broth. I'm going to save some of that broth. Oh, I can use that for other stuff. I'm not going to use the whole broth. It gets that flavor, and everything in there gets the flavor. So I'll see you in about 15 minutes, okay? Put the top back on. 15 minutes for the carrots. Or maybe 12, because I'm going to come and check. Maybe 10 minutes more, because I don't want them to be like mush. I want everything to be whole. So I'll be back in about 10-15 minutes. Okay, guys, it's been about 5 minutes, actually. I came back 5 minutes earlier because I want to check my sweet potatoes and make sure they're not getting too done. And they're getting done. Man, that's good. Now I'm going to add my white potatoes in there. Now I took some broth out too. If you find your pot's a little bit too big, I mean not big enough, and you know, as you're adding stuff in there, the broth is coming up, take some out. That's okay. You can take some of the broth out. It'll be okay. And you can use that broth and re-season, put some more seasoning in it, and season your rice. Make some rice and use your broth cooking the rice. It'll be delicious. So nothing's gonna be lost. We use everything. I use everything. If I don't do something, I make it do somewhere else. So it's all right. And I got my potatoes in there, and I'm gonna put them on for about 5 minutes with that, because the potatoes gonna cook fast. Okay. So I got everything is at medium heat now, medium to low, and it's cooking. It looks. I wish you could smell this. Oh, it smells so good. And that is good. That's still good. That's the pork. That's the pork. That's really nice and tender, getting tender, tender, tender. And then, where is that? Ah, here's the beef. That's nice and tender now, getting tender, tender, tender. So when it's all done, it's going to be nice and tender. All of it is going to be cooked at the same consistency, and it's going to be good. Yes, indeedy. So I'll be back, and I'm going to add some. The last thing I'm adding is the chicken, because the chicken takes no time to cook at all. I'm going to put chicken in there, and then I'm going to put some frozen green peas, and my canned corn is the last. You just dump that in after you finish everything, and then I'm going to go to my sauce, which is going to be tomato sauce, diced tomatoes with garlic, basil, and oregano in there, diced tomatoes, okay? And then what I did was to put in a can of tomato paste, and I diluted it just enough, like that. Gonna put that in there, and that's gonna, oh boy, I'm saying gonna make you bite your tongue. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, guys, it's been about another 5 minutes since I've been back in here with this. And this is, you understand me when I say 5 minutes, this is 5 minutes after it strikes a boil, because anytime you put something new in the pot, it slows the boil down. You have to wait for it to stop boiling again, then you count your minutes after that, okay? So now, where's my potatoes at? Here they are. That's nice right there. That's right, it's still whole, that's good. Now I'm going to put in my chicken and my green peas. That's a half a pound of green peas, frozen green peas I'm putting in there. Okay? I'm doing this in increments because you can cook this all separately and have the same thing, but you won't have the flavoring if you cook it all separate and boil it ahead of time. This, you get the flavoring in there. It's going to be a beautiful pot of stew. Oh my goodness, look at that. It's going to be really good. Now I'm going to wait till I strike another boil, and I'm going to wait about 5 minutes and then come back again. Now I want you to understand something. If I miss something, if I think I've missed something in the ingredients, I will go back over it again, or you'll see it in the little thing on the YouTube, on the video. You'll see something in there where you can go back and take a look, see if I missed anything. If I have, I'll put it in there. I wasn't sure about the black pepper, if I said black pepper or not. If I didn't say black pepper, you put the black pepper in when you put your first seasoning in. You know, the oregano and all that. A half a teaspoon of black pepper goes in there then. So if I didn't say it before, I'm saying it now. And I'm going to go over all of it with you anyway, so you'll know exactly what to do. Just watch the video and you'll see what I'm doing, and I'll go over it again if I miss something. So you get everything in there, okay? Because I want you to enjoy this. Now, when I come back in another 5 minutes, let me set the timer. This is not boiling yet. See? I put stuff in there, so it's got to come up to boil again. So I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. I'm going to set it for 7 minutes, because it takes about 2 minutes before it starts boiling again. Right? Now, in 2 minutes it'll start to strike a boil. Another 5 minutes it'll be ready. Then I'm going to put my tomatoes in there. And then I'm going to put my tomato paste in there. I like my sauce a little bit loose. So if you don't like it that way, then you can do, you know what I do. Add a little bit of cornstarch. Make sure you mix it with cold water now, cold water. And put it in there, thicken it up if you want it nice and thick. I like mine a little bit loose, so anyway, everybody's according to their own taste. Taste your seasoning again. Re-season if you want to. Put a little bit more salt in. I don't like a lot of salt, so I don't put a lot of salt in my food. Now all salt's in there, what I'm going to put in there. This has salt in it. The tomatoes, the diced tomatoes have salt in it too. And so does the tomato paste. So I'm not going to add any more salt to mine. But if you want to, that's up to you. It's going to be good any way you do it. Just don't make it briny, okay? So I'll see you in about 5 minutes. Okay, I'm back, you guys. It's been a little over 5 minutes, maybe 7 minutes. And I'm going to check my green peas, and I know the chicken is ready. Now, the way I tell my green peas are done, you see they're really round when you put them in there. And then when they get done, they got kind of sunken in a little bit. See that? They're done. They're done. Now I'm going to put in my tomatoes. My tomatoes, I don't like a whole lot of tomatoes. I don't want this, you know, I just want the flavoring of the tomatoes and the seasoning that's already put in there. It's already in there. And now I'm going to put in my tomato paste. gonna be so good. Oh my goodness. I just can't stand myself. Oh Lord. Boy, it's gonna make you bite your tongue. I ain't kidding. Ooh, I love this stuff. This last stuff, not last minute stuff, but it's not a long process really. You just have to watch it and while it's cooking, do other things in the house. You know, you got things to do in the house, do other things in the house. Don't leave and go to the store now. I wouldn't suggest you do that. But you can, just do some cleaning in the house, and if you're gonna do this on a Saturday or something like that, you can't do this when you come home from work. Okay? And the slow cookers, you could probably do this in a slow cooker too. It would be all ready and done. But I like to do things from the start to finish to show you a process of what you do. So if you want to put this in a slow cooker, it will probably do just as good uh, in a slow cooker if you want to do it that way. So now I'm going to let this strike a boil and let it cook for another 10 minutes really good. And if it's not the consistency that I want, see, I like mine soupy. If it's too loose, then I'll add some cornstarch to it, and that'll be that. Okay, so I'll be back in about 10 minutes because it's going to be done then. All of meat's going to be really just perfect like I like it. So I'll see you in about 10 minutes. I'm going to set the timer. And that's going to be 10 minutes total. That's from now when it strikes the boil, all it's going to be 10 minutes. So I'll be back in a minute. Now, after I put my corn in there, it's going to just get warm in there. I don't need to cook the corn, it's already cooked. This is whole kernel corn. And this is corn in a can. You can see that. I particularly don't like the frozen corn. For some reason, it doesn't have a crispiness to it. The canned corn is crispier to me. So if you like it frozen, then you put the frozen one in there. But this is what size can is it? It's a 15-ounce can. So I'm going to put that in there at the very end just to get the flavor through the corn and have a little crunch in the stew when it's done. Okay, so I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, I'm back. Now I came in between time and I had to start it over another 5 minutes because the bones, I stirred it up and the bones were coming out. So look at that. The bones were coming out. I took the bay leaf out. You don't want the bay leaf in there when you're serving something. So the bones, a lot of the bones came out because it's done. And I'm going to turn it off. And look at that. Boy, does that look good or what? That is really something good. I'm going to take this over to the table and spoon it out. And I'm going to show you how to, I can freeze this. I'm going to freeze some of this bad boy. My children are not going to eat all this by themselves. I'm not going to let them have it. I'm going to save some for me for later. So I'll meet you at the table. Okay, here I am at the table. And I'm going to take this and put this in here. And boy, let me tell you something. Ooh, look at that. Wow. My kids are going to come over tomorrow. And I'm going to give them they're going to enjoy. I'm going to freeze some of this bad boy for myself. Oh boy, look at that. Now you know that is so good. I'm not going to give them all vegetables, I promise. They're going to get some meat. But it's just so good. I really hate to share it with them because I'm going to share it though. I'll be nice. This is Mom. And Mom, there's no meat in there. So I'm going to put some meat in there so they can see. Oh, can you see that? This is a big pot. This is a big. I didn't realize this pot was going to be a lot of stuff. So anyway, it's a lot. And my potatoes are still whole, just about. They're just about whole in there. And my chicken and everything, not too overdone. You don't want to get your stuff overdone. That's bad. That's why I cooked it a little at a time, so it would get done consistently, and you wouldn't have something too overdone. If you do it like this, it'll come out perfect every time. Yes, it will. And I got a lot of it left in there, and that's enough for all of them to have. I make some cornbread with that. Ooh, my goodness. They're going to love me, Lord. Yes, they are. They said, Mom, you going to make some more? And I said, well, I don't know. It'd be good to me. My birthday, they were pretty good to me, though. You know what they did? Birthday and Christmas, I got 2 bottles. Not 1 bottle, but 2 bottles of Michael Kors cologne. Oh, it was so... I put both of them on. One was gold, and the other was regular Michael. And I sprayed the gold on, and I sprayed on the regular Michael. That was smelling good. Ugh, that was so nice, my babies. Anyhow, this is what I got left. I'm going to try to freeze it. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but I'm going to try. I'm talking about as far as them not eating it. I know I can freeze it, but anyway. I'm going to do that. The potatoes going to be all right and everything. I'll put this in the refrigerator for tomorrow, but look how good that looks. Oh, Those carrots and that meat, everything is in there. Oh boy. Ruthie, can you get a close up on that, baby? Look how good that is. That's really, really good. That's some good stuff there, child. Oh, I'm Elaine Pennant. I know I'm cooking now. I'll see you later. I got a surprise for you, too. I'll try to get it done. Maybe before next week is out, I'll try to get it done for you. It's a recipe for a simple layered, it's not a cake, it's like a dessert. It's a layered dessert, and it's good. You know, I just love cooking. I really do. I'm going to start on that outfit sooner or later. I'm going to start on it. But this is it for now. I'm Elaine Pennant, and I'm cooking. See you later.